Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So there appears to have been a little teeny tiny bitsy weeny leak, and I got these screenshots sent to me on lineup. So it does appear to be the CCP document, basically that Kabam hands out to CCP to discuss the champion abilities. But again, this has not been confirmed by Kabam, therefore take it with a grain of salt. However, I personally do think that these will in fact be the real abilities of Purgatory and also Maestro Overseer. I'm gonna make that video either later today or tomorrow morning. Either way, let's start with Purgatory because of how badass she looks. So let's go over all of her abilities and I'm gonna give a quick breakdown to them and say what I think about them. So she will have some increased base energy resistance, and she's also going to be immune to Incinerate, and all attacks deal energy damage instead of physical. Combat power rate is decreased by 40%. However, that did not seem to be too major of an issue because she will have several ways to gain extra power. And then she gain additional abilities depending on the opponent's class. These abilities are listed below. We're going to get to them, but those will be quite interesting too. Also, she will have this base mechanic Bloodthirst, and this Bloodthirst is relatively similar to Crowd Excitement from Gladiator Hulk or Man Things Agitation, things like that. So well-timed blocks and basic attacks hits from either champion grant 5 Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst falls off over time, falling off faster the longer it's been since it last increased. Bloodthirst falls off slower for each buff on the opponent during any special attack and when fighting as a defender. Fair play. Gaining any Bloodthirst grants up to 9% of a bar of power based on the Bloodthirst over 1.5 seconds. So basically just hitting opponents will give you 9% of bar power every time you increase this Bloodthirst thing as well. When Bloodthirst reaches max, Purgatory snaps into a demonic rampage, locking Bloodthirst at max for 15 seconds, after which it resets to 0. By the sounds of it, it does not seem like it will be too hard of a deal to get it up to the 100, because you parry, you're going to gain 5, you're going to gain some power gain buffs, you hit the opponent, you're going to gain some more. So it seems like fairly easy to accommodate mechanic. Let's move on. Demonic Rampage. So this is once you reach 100 Bloodthirst, you gain 2274 attack, which is probably about 100% attack increase. So that is quite a beefy extra attack. Demonic Rampage is paused during Purgatory's special attacks and for 3 seconds when she feels a bar of power, which is going to be quite important. Striking with the second medium attack causes Purgatory to consume 50% of a bar of her own power and then incinerate the opponent for relatively modest incinerate over 4 seconds. But the key here is that she has a way to dump her own power, and with that you will have more opportunities to cross the threshold of a power bar quite quickly. So we need to see how it works out, but in theory it should work quite well. Also, special attacks, if activating during Demonic Rampage, gain a Fury buff, increasing attack by another 2274 during the special attack. So that's another beefy damage increase right here, right now. Let's move on to filling a bar of power, crossfight, soul capture. As Purgatory gains power, the Bloodline's Horde steadily steals the opponent's soul from their body. Gain 1 soul shard when filling a bar of power, 2 when fighting as a defender. Cool, whatever. At 9 shards, she captures the opponent's soul, inflicting an indefinite passive neutralize that reduces buff ability accuracy by 65%. So, if she captures your soul, you'll have a lot of trouble triggering buffs. But on the upside, in any fight you use Purgatory, opponents will struggle activating their own buffs, which could be quite handy. It's not guaranteed, but it's a quite intriguing idea. Winning the fight after capturing their soul also permanently activates their class soul ability for the next 2 fights against all classes. Class soul abilities do not stack. Fair play. What are the class soul abilities? So against Mystics, when opponents activate a special attack, passively regenerate 60% of damage taken from blocked hits for 6 seconds. So that's kind of like Sorcerer Supreme, regen on block, not as potent, but still kind of cool. Cosmic Soul, when filling a bar of power, nullify 1 buff on the opponent. If a buff was nullified, gain an unblockable buff for 2 seconds. I like this one quite a bit. It gives her quite a lot of chances to nullify stuff. Tech 1, when filling a bar of power, inflict a non-stacking armor break debuff for 6 seconds, reducing armor rating by 1400, so you're going to hit even harder and get rid of their armor ups. Very useful against tech champions. Mutant Soul, When the opponent activates special attack, power steals 66% of the remaining power, gaining 100% of the power stolen. This could be also extremely useful against mutants. She could be a real beast against mutants, because anything that improves power gain typically works out quite beastily. Skill Soul, when a damage over time debuff on the opponent expires, is purified, or fails to apply due to an immunity, inflict a slow passive for 9 seconds. Slow, reduce, unstoppable, blah blah, we know what slow does. And Science nothing, because Science souls apparently are dirty. But she has access to slow against skill champions, which is a quite useful ability too, because, you know, skill champions do things. Right. Let's jump to the special attacks. So special 1, spell punishment. On activation, gain 25 Bloodthirst. Straightforward. If activated during demonic rampage, each hit regenerates 10% of damage dealt. But keep in mind that you're gonna have like 300% attack at this point, so you should be able to regenerate a decently good chunk. And I want to see how potent that regen is, and maybe that will also make it quite straightforward to use her with Suicide Masteries, which would be quite cool. Special 2, Stinging Souls. The last hit inflicts a degeneration debuff, dealing 7,676 damage over 6 seconds. Keep in mind it should scale with the special attack increase and that Fury, so it should be a ton of degen. It should be very potent degen. And if activated during demonic rampage, this attack is passively unblockable, which is always handy. Special 3, gain a non-stacking power gain buff, granting 100% of max power over 35 seconds. Now, it is not the most potent power gain buff, because it's 35 seconds long. However, it still should help you out with, you know, shifting past bar powers quicker. If the opponent's soul is captured, this attack deals 4% of their max health in direct damage, which can be useful in some, you know, huge attack type of scenarios, like just say huge health pool type of scenarios. But realistically, outside of like Abyss or whatever, it's not going to play any major role. And then we have signature ability. Winning the fight during demonic rampage or with a special attack instantly captures the opponent's soul. So I think that automatically makes that awakened ability quite important. The duration of Mystic, Cosmic, and Skill Souls is increased by 35%. The potency of Tech and Mutant Souls increased by 7%. So, yeah, I don't think maybe... I'm not entirely sure. I think that second bit is nice to have, don't care, but I think she's going to be one of those champions that you probably want to have at least at Sig 1, ideally. Because I think that is quite important. And then we have some synergies. With Guillotine, Purgatory instantly gain a Mystic Crossfights class soul and the start of Purgatory's first fight in a quest, and it lasts for the entire quest, so she would destroy all the mystics. Bleed triggered by critical hits on Guillotine have a chance to be critical bleed, so that actually would be very interesting, because Guillotine, if synergized up properly, can already do some insane damage, like with Night Thrasher and Ronin and Morningstar, I think, and now with this young lady. I know that will never be the practical thing, but for funsies, I would like to go and try it out. Let's move on to synergy with Hela. Purgatory strikes grant 1 additional bloodlust. Cool. And Hela gain an unblockable buff during special 1 and 2 if you have 150 or more spirits. Again, I don't think anybody's going to actively play Hela. With Immortal Hulk, Purgatory has 20% chance per captured class soul to instantly regenerate 20% health just before being knocked out once per fight. That's kind of neat. That's kind of like Angela and Hela ability there, but specifically for Purgatory. Still, I don't think it is like reliable, because capturing 5 souls will not be an easy feat in vast majority of the scenarios. Immortal Hulk, triggering immortality, consumes 5% less max gamma. It's neat, but it's not game changing. And then we have Symbiote Supreme and Venom the Dark synergies. Purgatory increase debuff potency by 115%. That's Incinerate debuff potency, so you're going to be incinerating for more, but that Incinerate was extremely modest anyways. Symbiote Supreme, the amount of power gain from consuming genetic potential is increased by 30%. That is very useful, I think. Venom the Dark, an additional symbiote buff may be stored in RNA bank each fight. Now that could make Venom the Dark way crazier in some cheesy content like incursions. Because currently he's like limited at 10 buffs, but then you'd get 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th the longer you go. That would be very interesting to find out what exactly is the top ceiling now for Venom the Dark with that. It seems quite scary, to be honest. With Mephisto, Hood, Magic, and Dormammu. Dimensional beings gain bleed immunity, 20% ability accuracy, and 900% armor rating. Now that is quite cool. I like that. Bleed immune magic. Quite neat. I like that. That could actually be useful somewhere, potentially. And then with Morningstar, Purgatory, gain a soul shard every 25 seconds. Sure, neat. Morningstar, 50% ability power rate while below 1 bar of power. If it would be like below 2 bars of power, I'd like it a lot more, but okay, sure, why not, I guess. Could be helpful, but it's not the busted synergy that I was hoping for. All in all, I must say that she definitely looks like a very intriguing champion. I think the success or failure of this champion is going to entirely depend on two things. Two very, very, very important things. Number one, the numbers. She seems that she could potentially have quite a crazy amount of damage available to her because you enter your Bloodlust quite quickly, or Demonic Rampage, or whatever it's called. And then you get 100% attack fury or something like. Basically, you get a huge fury, and then you get a huge damage increase in all of your special attacks. And then also how good that special 1 and special 2 damage is. Most importantly, special 1, and whether you can heal substantial amount from that. All in all, definitely looks like very, very interesting addition to the game. I look forward to playing with Purgatory. Think she will be quite intriguing. Again, this is a leak. It has not been confirmed by Kabam 100%. And obviously, up until the time the champion makes it actually in the game, it's very hard to judge whether they will be good or bad. But believe you me when I tell you that she looks a lot better than, I don't know, Mangog or Ma originally, whatever. She looks very interesting, and I'm quite excited to play about with her. Probably will end up grinding for her. Either way, that is it for this video, and I am going to catch you guys soon. See ya! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information